Welcome back to Dynasty Dads. Today we're talking the rookie tight ends the draft was it 4 days away now at this point? Starts
I'm
on,
counting as three.
yeah, but it's going to be a fun time. I just posted our yearly draft contest this year. Instead of doing the top 10 picks, we're just going to do the top 10 players that we care about for fantasy that are going to affect fantasy. So we had a QB, two backs, six wide receivers, and then I think it was two tight ends. So if you want to post your submission either in the Discord, if you post inside of a league, you're just eligible for the signed jersey. If you post in the Discord, you can get the jersey and a $100 credit to any dad's league I will personally cover. Just trying to drive more people to the Discord to have a more consolidated group chat, because there's a lot of people that like to talk in our leagues, and just also make it where I don't have to post everything in every single league. I would rather post in one place and not bug everyone that doesn't want to be a part of the things that I post, which is fine. People want to come here and play fantasy, that they don't care about all the other shit. They don't care about the podcast or, new things are dropping or tools or whatever. They just want to come in, play fantasy, and go on about their day, which is perfectly fine. So if you want to get into that contest, I post it in every single league. You just have to post where you think they are going to land. I don't care what pick, I don't care what round, just what team they land on. And be sure you don't make an edit to your post, because then you're not, that post is now, I can't use it because I don't know if you've waited till after the draft and made changes. I am taking screenshots of every single one just to make sure. So if you do make a second post and you want to take down your other one, be sure to tag me so I can take down your first one and keep your second one. But all right, we got a little bit of news, nothing crazy. A pretty big pick. And then the first thing on here that I thought when I saw that Dexter Lawrence was traded to the Bengals for the 10th overall pick was something that you said. Bad teams make bad choices all the time, and I thought this was a horrible trade for the Bengals for multiple fronts. Dexter Lawrence, I don't think there's any question that he's one of the best players in the league at his position. He did have a down year this past year, but he is going to be 29 when this season starts, and what they're going to be paying him for the next 4 years came out to like $112 million on a team that needs money, that needs the extra cap space to go around. When that 10th overall pick, you would have been paying like a high end 20 mil for those 4 years. So instead of paying a young asset that you can build around on your defense for 4 years, only 28, 29 million, you are now paying an older guy at the back end of his career $112 million for the next 4 years. So you pretty much shot yourself in the foot for close to $100 million, and you don't have a player to build on going into the future, which I don't know how you feel about it, but when I first saw it, this was a desperate move to fix the run game, which I get it was a big need for them, but I think there was other ways that they could have done it. And what I heard is most teams weren't offering more than a late first for Lawrence. So this was an overpay, and in more ways than one. What were your thoughts on it?
If you look, what was it? Someone posted, I saw it other places. If you look at number of pressures from the nose tackle or right over the center, area, he has the most in the NFL by like 90 over the last 4 years.
Yeah,
So he's not just a run stopper. He makes plays and gets to the quarterback and can put pressure. I think the Bengals saw it as our defense has sucked for a long time. We just drafted some young pass rushers on the outside. Let's see if we can help them by getting someone big on the inside. The 10th overall pick in a draft like this with a bunch of edges that could help or other defenders is a little worrisome. You're right. They already have cap issues with the big three they have. So now, if they did that, why didn't they just keep the pick and sign Henderson, and keep the D end? Like why didn't they just do that?
Yep.
It's a long deal. He's going to be 31, 32. Now, DTs can play longer. We've seen it with a bunch of
Yep.
stud DTs. They went and got a guaranteed thing. It should help the defense. I don't think it's going to affect the offense because they're still going to have to score points. But, I guess they were tired of taking risks. But I'm with you. I like it from the Giants side. They got out of the cap situation. They got the money back. They're a rebuilding team. Now they can go draft two guys they like. I'm assuming it might be one on offense, one defense, whether it's receiver, O line, right? And I feel they'll also go, whether it's safety, cornerback, or I guess they don't need pass rusher, maybe a linebacker, an, an Ohio State guy, it seems like, at
Or
either
two of
5
them.
or 10. And so to me, it continues and it speeds up the rebuild a little bit. They got a little relief. Now they have young guys, cap space. The biggest thing is the cap space in the future, right? Because now they can go look at the class, whatever free agent coming out next year, and now spend 20 something mil on someone, whether it's a guard or a DT. You know what I'm saying? Like they could spend the money on someone that's not quite as good, but get cheaper and get the 10th pick. It's it's the kind of moves you see teams and franchises that need to rebuild when they start trading for those guys instead of giving away these top picks and having to pay. They they now are doing the opposite. So I love it for the Giants. For Cincy, I get it. They feel like they need to win now, but I felt they should have done it in different ways.
Yeah. And they could be a great team this year, and this looks like a great move for both teams. The Bengals every year are a team that could easily make the playoffs just because of their QB and their offense. So if they could get some help on defense, where they aren't having to put up 40 or 50 points a game on offense, then they're a team that could make a run in the playoffs. So, but for the Giants, now it puts them in a spot where they could go many ways. They could, if the Titans don't pick Love at 4, and then the Titans pick, Love at 5. I mean, and then the Giants pick Love at 5, and then they take Tate at 10 if he makes it. They could go heavy on offense to surround Dart with more weapons. There's so many ways that the Giants could go with this. I would hope that they would use both those picks on defense, maybe one on a wide receiver, but
Uh,
it it's a better spot to be in for the Giants to be able to have the two top 10 picks to go make moves. They did have, I think they had two top picks in 2022, and I'm pretty sure neither of those picks worked out. So
I don't remember. I just think it sets them well if they really think about it. They take the best defensive player they like at 5, whether it's Styles or oh my God, who's the safety? How am I forgetting his name?
Downs.
Downs. If they want him, or they like Delaney, the cornerback, and then at 10, I think one of the top 3 wide receivers will fall to him. I just do, especially because they won't take one of them, right? And so let's say they go Styles, and then they get Mekhi Lemon, right, to pair. I mean, I think it works. I think Lemon in the Giants is a perfect pairing. And when we discuss wide receivers, he wasn't my favorite, but I think at 10 he could be perfect for him. I mean, think Neighbors on the outside, other tight ends, and have him deep crosses. If the O line holds up, that offense could be really good.
All right. Last bit that I got here. I don't know if you have anything else, but now now it's basically being said that AJ Brown is basically a Patriot post June 1st. Now that Diana is no longer reported on this, now it's Adam Schefter. So I'm kind of wondering, like, what is Schefter filling those shoes with Mike for Vrabel? What are they doing behind the scenes? Is he taking the same approach that Diana had? Or but
Whatever works, baby. Whatever
I mean,
works.
whatever you got to do to get the information, I guess. But
Yep.
now it's pretty much said and done. Obviously, it's not fully done yet, but from everything that we've been hearing, there's a trade in place for post June 1st, which basically puts AJ Brown on the Patriots. And
So, question for you. I think that also means the 31st pick is not going to be traded. As in, Philly's going to tell them who to take, and they already have an agreement in place?
I don't think they're going to draft somebody. I think it'll be a 2027 pick. I don't think it's going to be 2026 players because there's no way that you do that to somebody, you draft them and then trade them a month later. I mean,
Why?
yes, it has happened before, but that whole, show that's going to be put on, the hype, all of the stuff around that player going to the Patriots, and then a month later they're traded. Like,
But I guess it's just so in that little thing, and I'll say it now. I think I have New England taking Denzel Boston, the wide receiver, right? Because I feel either they make the trade for Brown or the opposite, it falls through and they still get the receiver they both like.
yeah,
Does that make sense? And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that-
And Philly
it's,
could also take Boston at 23 as well, but
and if they do, maybe things
eh,
are different. But
yeah,
I mean, what would Philly want back? A future pick in Christian Barmore, a DT to get some pass rush?
I don't think they trade Barmore.
I wouldn't.
He's
He's
too
too
good.
good. I think he's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
We might have discussed this. Anyway, that's a tangent, but I love Barmore. I like him coming out. I wish the Saints took him. We did not, clearly. Um, I think he's a menace in the middle.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah.
but it does sound like he's going. It sounds like he's gone. When you're reading books on the sidelines and you're not communicating with your coach or quarterback, they're called divas for a reason. They move along, and he could be the perfect guy. Either he shows up in New England and wants to play with a young quarterback, or doesn't fit the mold again. But he does know Vrabel, so I hope it works.
And I do think AJ Brown's value, as soon as that trade goes through, his value goes up. I think people are going to be bought in that he's going to be a good wide receiver one for the next 2 or 3 years, even though he'll be 29. I think he's 29 now, but he'll be 29 to start the season. So you'll
I
probably
think
have
through
a
the
good
year too,
two,
but
three
yeah.
year. Yeah, he'll be a good top end option for fantasy for the next 2 or 3 years, and most people play within that 2 to 3 year window. So he's someone that I would trade a first for in this draft, probably anywhere off from all the way up to like the 10. Like, I'll do the Bengals thing. I'll trade a top 10 pick for him. Like, I'd probably go up to maybe 5 or 6, trade the 106 for AJ Brown. But by then, these drafts will be done with already. So it's all about, does a team want to move AJ Brown for one of the top 3 or top 4 wide receivers from this class? But I think his value will go up. Right now, he's like in the 7th round of startups, and I think he'll jump up into probably the 5th round, maybe 4th round. But
Would you give a 27 if you think you're a mid first and think you need a receiver to help compete? You giving that up?
if I'm someone that I feel confident that I can make the playoffs, I've got good depth, I'll trade that mid to late first for AJ Brown. If I'm a bottom half team, or if I'm right there on the border and I don't have good depth, then I'm just going to see how the season starts.
Yeah, gotcha.
But all right, do you got anything else for news? I think those were the two big things.
Um, did I hear anything else? The only thing I keep hearing is no matter what, Love is a top 5 pick. And I keep hearing buzz that
Cardinals.
Arizona. So from
Oh,
what I've heard
Cardinals.
through the grapevine is the owner loves him and wants him. And everyone else in the organization that is smart realizes taking a running back 3rd overall is not going to fix their problems.
But he's going to sell some tickets. He's going to sell some jerseys. And as the owner,
I think the fans are done with selling jerseys. They got Marv. We sold jerseys. We don't care anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to sell jerseys. Oh, I guess one of the other big news is Brissett's holding out. You saw that?
No.
Yep. Didn't show up to voluntary workouts. He said, nope, pay me. He's due like $9.5 million this year, and he wants some kind of extension.
Which is fair. If you expect him to be your starter for the year, give him a raise for the season. Pay him
That's
20, 25 mil.
even if they go from 9.5 to like Give him a tackle an extra year with $8 million guaranteed, and then he can mentor whatever rookie they take, right? It helps
Yeah.
him. It helps his career. He's old. It'll be perfect. I think in the end they come to agreement because yeah, he started a lot of games last year. He played, didn't win, but played pretty well. And so if you want him to start this year, I get him saying, "Hey, give me more than that."
Yeah.
He
All
he also
right.
lets them see. If they sign Brissett, he lets them see what the offense can be like with um, Marv, the running backs healthy, O line coming
Love.
back, Trey McBride, Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like he lets them actually see what a passing offense can kind of look like, even if he's not the future player, but you could see what it is. Does that make sense? If they
I
take
just want to go over.
Minshew or something. What?
y- I I just want to go over your top 10 predictions. You have Love still going to the Titans.
Yep.
Obviously, the one that everyone has is Fernando to the Raiders. You have Price going to the Vikings, Tate to the Browns, Makai Lemon to the Commanders, Tyson to the Chiefs, Omar Cooper to the Jets, Kevin Concepcion to the Steelers, and Denzel Boston to the Patriots, and Sadiq to the Bucks. Do you still
Yep.
feel confident in that Jeremiah Love one? Is that the one you're least confident in now
No, all the
because
receivers I'm
of
least confident in. I couldn't tell you what team loves who. And if the Browns are smart, they probably go tackle then receiver, in my
yeah.
opinion. So Lo- Love, I'm more confident than a lot of the receivers because the issue is you can miss on the first receiver taken on what team and be wrong on every other one. You know, I took the shot that the Saints don't take one.
Okay,
That's
fair
where I
enough.
went. Yeah.
So you'll know pretty early on Thursday at pick 3 if your entry's dead. So
Well, so is it
which
who does the best, or is you have to get all 10 right?
you have to get all 10 right,
No, I can
which
tell
is
you it's
hard.
dead now.
I mean, people have gotten close, like one or two off, like the year with Penix when he went to the Falcons. That threw everyone off. But there's been guys that have been like one or two picks away where I was sweating it because for me it's anywhere from $100 to $300 depending on who that guy picks. The winner of the pool league last year picked an not last year but the year prior picked an Aiden Hutchinson jersey, which was like 200 something bucks.
So
uh,
so you even if you don't get it perfect, you still get a jersey.
you have to hit 10 for 10, 10 for
Okay,
10. Yeah. 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 Well, all right. Let's get into these tight ends then.
sounds good.
These are the top 10. These are the ones that are projected to go in the top 50. We picked guys that were at least have some bit of athleticism because it's kind of important for tight ends. So we have Caden Sadiq, Stowers, Max Clare, Delp, Sam Roush, uh, Justin Jolie, Trigg, Raredion. I can't even say his name right.
Rare done.
Raredon, and
More.
then
Yeah.
Jack Andrews from the Texans. So, all right, how about you start off with Kenyan Sadiq?
Kenyon Sadiq, 6'3", 241. And the NFL score got a 6.47, which means should be a starter pretty much right away. In the elite score, he got a 93, which means they love his athleticism as well as his production. Even though if you listen to a lot of, I guess, the metrics guys, they're not as high on him. They think he has a lot of holes. For me, what I liked and what I saw, which if you watch, you can see a lot, is he's a willing blocker. He's willing to get scrappy, which is helpful because I think that means he'll play inline and out, even if he is a little light at 241. Um, they pulled him around as like an H-back kind of blocker coming through holes, which is I see more and more, and you see more and more in the NFL game. Guys pulling in that formation with like a tight end or playing kind of like a fullback. I thought he had good hands. And Oregon's system's a little gimmicky for college, but I thought he showed some kind of wiggle, especially in and out of breaks a couple times. You saw some quick moves that let him get across his safety into the middle or stuff like that, which it tells me he'll play a lot, be on a lot of downs. I don't think he's just a big slot, which is part of it. Um, I think he'll go in motion a lot more than we might think. Can line up in trips and tight formations, a little bit of slot. I think he's clearly the tight end one in this class, not just because of the speed and athleticism, but also because of the way he can move and block.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows at this point he is an unreal athlete. I mean, 4.3940, like it's the fastest at the combine ever for a tight end. Like this guy is unreal. He had a 43.5-inch vert. Like he is an animal. Um, so outside of that, since everyone already knows that, I think he to me projects more of a slot tight end. Yes, he could block, but I think he's going to have some issues with some linemen. Like I wouldn't want him to try and block a defensive lineman in the NFL. More of like maybe an outside backer or go up to the second level for a backer. But he's a slot wide receiver that turns into an RB after the catch. I think he's very athletic that can make people miss. He's also very physical. I mean, if you had a back that was his size at 6'3", 240, I mean, that would be an unreal guy. Just look at Mike Washington. I mean, it's almost the same build and speed. They're both, but I think Kenyon has more wiggle in his game than Mike Washington. He was also the John Mackey Award winner. I think he runs a lot of routes. He's someone that it's not just out routes or drags. Like he can work down the field on deep crossers. He can run curls. And I liked his routes too. He used a lot of timing in his routes. He could put himself in position to win on routes. It wasn't just I'm bigger, faster, stronger. I'm going to run by you. He's very good on out breaking routes against man. Most people see him in the slot. He'll go over the middle, but if he runs towards the sideline, he's going to beat you to that sideline. And his hands are pretty good. There was some special catches. I don't think he has the greatest hands, but he could definitely win at the next level. Cons, while yes, he is a okay blocker. Like I said, I don't think he's going to have a great time trying to block a D end in the league. More of like outside backers or just being able to chip guys on the edge. I don't think he's someone that you want to square up with Aiden Hutchinson or something like that. I think he needs to work better on zone coverage. Yes, he did find holes, but he tends to sit in a spot where he was supposed to be versus trying to find space to be open. And I do think he's had some drops with the easy passes, not some that are in contested catches, but just like, okay, you're supposed to make this catch, and then he'll drop it, mainly because he's trying to focus on after the run type stuff. But that's stuff that you could work on. Overall, I do think he's the top tight end in this class. I think he'll go very early on day one, and wherever he goes, people are going to have questions like, is he going to be the starter from day one? Because like you have him going to the Bucks. Like, is he going to start over Cade Otton day one? Like a guy that's been there, that just got a contract to come back. It wasn't a massive contract, but it's someone that they trust in the system. Is he going to be used more of like a slot guy or in two tight end sets while Cade Otton is still the primary tight end? I think those are some questions that are still going to be asked once he gets drafted. Because if you look at the top 15, where could he go and start right away? Obviously not the Raiders. The Jets, if they take him, yes. Cardinals, no. Titans, probably.
Yeah,
I do like Helm. I do like Helm. Giants, they aren't going to take him. Browns, hopefully they won't take him. If he goes to the Commanders at 7, yes, he would be the starter. Saints, yes.
They paid Okonkwo, though.
Who?
Commanders. They paid Chig.
Yeah, but I think Sadiq, they would still split. But
yeah, he would. Split. They don't have many other options, but yeah.
Chiefs, he would be the backup for at least one more year. Dolphins would start right away. I don't think Dallas is going to take him. I hope the
Yeah.
Rams don't because, I mean, Baltimore at 14. I've seen some talk about him going to Baltimore. There's some people that have put Baltimore as their pick, and he would fill into that Isaiah Likely, slot on that depth chart. Tampa you have, and that's 15. So there's some spots there in the top 15 where if he goes, he's not the guaranteed starter year one, and that might drop his value some where he drops to like the 7th, 8th pick. But in the long
And,
term, I think he's going to be a good player.
and half PPR, like half tight end PPR. So, 1.5 for them.
Mhm.
Do you think he is easily sixth, or do you think he's more like 9, 10?
Like overall with tight ends, I
No,
would
no.
take the top 6 over him.
Who do you have sixth? Inception.
So you got.
Do you have
Oh, I
KC?
thought you meant just in tight ends. Uh, so if like right now, we will get into it because we're gonna be doing a mock draft
Yeah.
here in a little
Kind of
bit.
asking
But
it, but yeah.
but like, I think he would. I think he's pretty easily from like 1 through 7 right now. He is going to go there if we did the drafts today. That's where he would go. I don't think anyone would take him over the top 3 receivers. I don't think he would go over Mendoza or Love. So you're looking at the 5th to 7th spot, depending on how you feel about the other wide
Well,
receivers.
fifth would take him over the receiver. So you're thinking 6 through 8?
Oh yes, 6 through 8. Yeah,
Gotcha. I I think it's going to be a wild swing of who likes who and where they go between 1.6, even 1.5. If one of those receivers goes in a bad spot, 1.5 to like 1.11, 1.11 of where people like and see people. Like if Sadiq goes to a great spot, randomly goes to a great spot, Kansas City takes him at 9, and it's a half point tight end premium. He's the successor to Kelsey. What? He jumps up to like 4, maybe 3, like ridiculous,
yeah,
right? If he goes
yeah.
to Bucks, if he goes to Carolina, which some teams are thinking, does he fall to the 110? And I think he might. So anyway, I was just bringing up, what's your opinion on it? Like,
I
I'm gonna
really
wait
think that
until I
he
see
could
one
go.
draft and then try and figure it out from there.
Yeah, and we'll do a mock draft right when the draft is over. That'll be our next episode. Is just a mock draft after the NFL draft. We'll talk all the spots where guys land. But I think there's a real chance that people could take him at the 3rd pick and go all the way to 10th. I think that 3 to 10 is going to be a large range just because of where other players are going and also where he goes. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Just one small correction on him. He actually didn't win the John Mackey Award.
Pretty sure he did.
Stowers won it, who I guess we'll get into. So mm,
Wait.
he didn't. I just looked it up.
Oh, he was a
Yeah.
finalist. Sorry, he was a finalist for it. Sorry, I read too
Yeah.
fast there.
And
All right.
Stowers won. So
Well,
Eli Stowers, hey, I started with Sadiq. You start with him.
all right. Stowers. He went to Vanderbilt. 6'4", 239. To me, he's probably the best blend outside of a Sadiq of pure pass catcher and can play on the line. He has a background playing QB, wide receiver, so he's a talented player. He knows the game. He's played the game at both positions, and you typically see people that play QB have a better understanding of the game just because they have to. Since they played QB, I think he's a great athlete. I mean, he ran a 4.51. Obviously, that doesn't compare to the first guy, but he's still a great athlete. We don't see guys running 4.4s and 4.3s at tight end very often. So a 4.51 is still very, very fast. What I saw on tape is he loves his digs and drags, and he also loves to run hitches against zone. I mean, those were his 3 best routes that I saw him run. He's great down the seam. I think he's got great hands. He consistently pulls in balls that are away from his body. Most time you'll see with these bigger guys, it's hard for them to, dive for catches or go up top and grab catches. He Some of these combine stats don't feel real, but he had a 45.5-inch vertical. Like, is that real? Is that real? Because I know that there was a lot of arm length problems at the combine, and when guys went to their pro days, their arms got longer. So anyway,
Shorter
he still got a
or didn't do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right.
He's still gonna have a plus 40-inch vert, which is very good for a tight end. And I liked him as far as his yak ability too. He's not someone that's gonna catch the ball and fall down. He's got something after the catch. Cons, I mean, he really only had 1 year of solid production. Sometimes his game speed looked slower than his 40. Sometimes, like when I saw him run and then I saw his 40s, like, okay, that really doesn't add up that well. But with him being bigger, his strides looked a bit slower, so he could still be moving. He just looked slower than his 40 time. Um, and sometimes on his routes, he didn't look like he was going full speed. There was a lot of routes that he ran that were like half-assed routes. I felt like he knew that the ball wasn't going to come to him, so he ran it like a half speed. And for someone that can make these catches away from his body, he kind of struggles with the contested catches where the ball is coming right to him, or there's a DB trying to punch the ball out. He wasn't the greatest in that area, but I think we agree that this is not the best class. I mean, if you look at this past year, there was, 3 guys. I mean, there was 6 guys, I think, that we all loved, at least had some hope in. This is not this class, but there's still some talent in this class. And I think he's going to be one of the guys that goes either late day one or on day two that you're probably going to be able to get in your second round. And he's going to be a great player. I just don't think he's going to have the top end ceiling that the first guy did that we talked about.
Yeah. I I think he goes in early second round of the NFL draft, and I think in rookie drafts there's enough steam on him because he has the tight end name, especially in let's say half or 0.75 or 1 point full tight end, that he goes late in the first. Um, I what I watched, I wasn't the biggest fan. I know it's Vanderbilt. Pavia is the exciting quarterback. To me, it's just a big
Is he?
slot. He 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 can he can break tackles more than some of the others. That was kind of fun to see. He's like elusive hips, can break tackles after the catch, more so than a lot of tight ends, period. So that was something that was a little different and special. Um, I He's not a blocker. The amount of times he gets absolutely destroyed by even linebackers is way too much. So he's gonna have to learn that point part of his game. And I think he's either just gonna turn into a slot receiver or is gonna have to put on weight to be able to learn how to block, which could hurt his receiving. So whoever brings him in and drafts him is gonna have to have a plan for him. Now, he's the one that won the John Mackey, so we know he could do
Yeah.
it, was the main focal point on the team. Um, I'm The more I watch, I'm less excited. I feel on 40 for he might only play 50 to 60% of snaps because he just can't block. The next one that we're going to talk about is Max Clare, 6'4.5", 246 pounds, 6'3" and the NFL score 76 in that next gen number. Um, if you watch him at Ohio State, he just seems kind of like a player on the field that is an okay blocker, nothing special. It's so hard there though, because I mean, whether you have them, they have a top 3 receiver in this class and they have the number 1 player coming out next year and other good receivers and other good talent. So it's very hard to watch him. And I didn't get the chance to go look at 2024 tape because supposedly at Purdue, their offense was horrible, but he had like a 30+% share in their receiving game, even though he only had like 680 yards or something. Um, so when I watched 25, it's not his best. People think he has upside, but with two freak talents, awesome NFL talents that are going to be both top 10 picks and one in the top five easily, it was hard to see how good he could be. So I don't know how that speaks toward the NFL though, right? Because if he gets the NFL system, if he's the third or fourth option, is he really that good for fantasy?
Yeah, I didn't watch a whole lot of 2024. I did go back and just look at some of his highlights from 2024. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that. I didn't watch any specific game. But he did look like a different player. It was probably because he was more involved in the offense. He looked like he had more, I guess, use in that offense than he did at Ohio State. Not that he's not going to be a good player at the next level, but not too many teams in the NFL are you going to have two top 10 picks at wide receiver on your team. Like most teams don't even have one. So it's not that he's not going to be important at the next level. It's just, does he get to a team where he could be the second or third option and then still be able to produce, with not having, a top five pick on one side and a top 10 pick on the other. From what I saw in 2025, I mean, I thought he was someone that can work at all three levels. He can work short, intermediate, and deep. For someone his size, I think he had smooth routes for someone that's as big as him. And as far as after the catch as well, he was pretty smooth. Not that he's going to, make a lot of people miss, but he was someone for his size that can move. Not like, I mean, there's some guys on this list like Sam Roush. I don't think he's going to make anyone miss at the next level as far as being able to move around players. But he's definitely in like the top five in this class. I think he was a good blocker in spacing. He was good with his leverage, not so much of a power blocker. His speed against linebackers over the middle was something that I liked. He's not the fastest guy out there, but he's still someone that can run by a linebacker in zone or break on an out route or burn them on a drag route. Um, he's pretty good after the catch. He can break tackles. He can make some people miss, but nothing crazy. And some of the cons I had on him, like I said, when he's used to block, he's better on leverage, but on power, it was kind of a bit of an issue that I saw on tape with him. His hands, they're not the greatest that you've ever seen, but they're still going to be enough for the next level. And one of the cons I had, we kind of already talked about, was his production kind of fell off at Ohio State, which is understandable when you're playing with Smith and Tate on the outside. Which you could also make an argument that teams are going to focus on those two players on the outside. You should have been able to do more over the middle, with so much attention going to those two guys. So, however you want to spin it for him, but I still think he's going to be solid. He's going to be a day two pick. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he's probably a day two pick, if not even a second round pick.
Yep.
So I think some people really like him, like what they did to Purdue, think they can get more out of him when the scheme works better for him. So he, to me, is another one of those guys, like we said, with some of those late wide receivers, purely draft capital and situation.
Yeah. Which is about what we're starting to get into with the rest of these tight ends. So
Yes, very much.
I'll move on then. Oscar Delp out of Georgia, 6'5", 245. I put him at 6'5" because he was 6'4", 7 and 7/8. It's pretty much 6'5". But we haven't really been able to say that yet, and we will here coming up. But this is the first taller tight end. Delp, I think he's a great athlete as a tight end. I mean, for his size, he's a pretty good athlete. Soft hands. There wasn't many drops when it was uncontested. And he's probably going to primarily line up as a big slot. Not to say that he can't block, but I wouldn't want him going up against some of the best ends in the league in the run game. Some of the cons I had, I'm like, where's the production? Like I know he was behind Bowers, for I mean not I guess 2022 and 2023, but after that he didn't really take a big step forward at all. Bowers has been in league 24 and 25, and he came out in 24, correct? I'm
Yep.
not missing a year. So like where was the jump in production? Because he had the same production pretty much 23, 24, and 25. Um, and you could, say that that offense as a whole took a step back. This past year it wasn't the greatest. Um, but another issue I had was on contested catches for someone his size. I didn't like it as much as some of these other guys. And there's not a lot after the catch with him, even given that he's this athletic, tight end. There wasn't a whole lot there. So while the tools are there, he didn't really show a whole lot when he was given the opportunity. Like I said, his production pretty much stayed the same 23, 24, and 25.
Yeah. So Oscar Delp, 6'5", 245, 6'13" on the NFL score, 76 on that next gen. I thought he was a willing blocker, so that was an upside piece. But as you said, where's the production? He was supposed to be the
Yeah.
next guy in the offense after Bowers left, and he never did it. Now what? He had a small fracture in his foot that sounded like it happened early in the season. He played through it. Um, they're dealing with that, so the medicals will have to come back. When I listen to other podcasts and stuff, they're excited about his possible upside, but he had that. I mean, Zachariah Branch was his best other receiver on the outside, and we're not a fan of his. So
No.
I'm I'm definitely worried. But if he gets good draft capital, if he gets late second round, mid to mid third round, he's a guy you got to draft. Um, I'm just I'm he's pure upside, and in this class, you're probably gonna have to take him anyway, early third round in rookie drafts. Just that's where he's probably gonna go. So, um, good on you. I'm probably gonna take some shots at him, but it's gonna have to be the right situation. I think that's what's gonna determine who he is for fantasy.
Yeah. All right, you're up.
All right, I'll take the next guy we're talking about, which is Sam Roush, 6'6", 267. So this is the biggest guy, heaviest guy on the class. 6.26 in the NFL score, 74 in the next gen. Mainly plays in line, is a good
Yeah.
blocker. I think good and can be used on some of the D ends. Now, if he gets a double team, he can actually push guys back. So I think he's going to get some teams that want a tight end that can be in line and block. He's not as big as Darnell Washington, but the guys that are looking in the offenses that want a tight end that can play more like that and then fan out into the flats and a little bit kind of comeback routes in the middle, 8 to 10 kind of sit in a zone routes. He's probably perfect for that. Get some dump offs in an offense. But I thought he had decent hands. Like I saw some away from his body, nice catches. So that was something I did like. But I don't, he's not the best athlete to get down the field. So he's not going to be the guy that stretches the seam, but he will help in offense. And I think he's going to get the chance, depending on the system again and where he goes and draft capital. I think he'll get the chance to play a good bit early because he can block and is a willing blocker. And I thought was pretty good at it, especially he double teaming with a tackle and then going up to the next level was something they did well.
Yeah, he's. I'm just going to say it. He's my lowest ranked tight end for fantasy, just because we play fantasy. In the NFL, he's going to be a great tight end. He's going to block his ass off. He's going to catch when he's asked to catch, but he's mainly going to be a sixth offensive lineman. The comp that I've seen a lot, um, and I think is pretty good is like Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox, they have him down here as a comp. He's a bigger tight end that can block well, but he's not like they drafted Kincaid for a reason because they wanted a very good pass catching tight end, and I think he can go to a team and be the tight end one, but not be the leading tight end as far as fantasy on that team. I think he's very. I mean, he's a mountain of a man. I mean, he's a very strong player. He's a very physical player. Um, his best route is probably his out route because he's going to run right to your face and then break out, and you're not going to be able to take that hit once he runs right up to you. Um, so to me, what I saw, that was his best route, and that's something that is used a lot at the next level. So it'll be like a play action, boot out to one side, and there he is. But I don't see him going downfield, making crazy catches downfield. He's going to be I'm going to block my ass off, and I'm going to catch every now and then when they ask me to catch. And his best work kind of falls in line with that, where he's out by the sideline or he's right over the middle because you couldn't cover him when he went to make that flat route or that outbreaking route. And then over the middle, he's got the size to box out guys in the middle and make those catches. But anything beyond 10 to 15 yards, you probably won't see too often with him. He's very slow. He ran a 4.7. He is not the crazy athlete. For his size, he's a pretty good athlete. But when it comes to fantasy and to be able to run routes downfield and make catches, it's just not his game. And also, I thought he played fairly stiff, like for his size. Like, he's got a lot of mass, so there's not a lot of wiggle in his game. I didn't see him bring any deep passes down. I didn't see him work down the field that much. I didn't see him make any crazy acrobatic catches. It was all like right to his body or right on the outstretched arms of him. But he's going to be a solid tight end at the next level when it comes to the NFL, not so much for fantasy.
Yeah, the last thing about him, I could see him because he's such a good blocker and he is athletic enough. And you said those out routes, and then he can kind of turn around and read zone a little bit. I could see him being the tight end randomly in, somewhere between his second and fourth year that scores like 8 touchdowns, but only has 50 catches and 550 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the guy that people
Like Dawson
realize that
Knox.
scoring fantasy points kind of helps you, but even with touchdowns, has limited upside.
Yeah.
So, but he's going to have a season like that. I could see if he gets in the right situation.
So draft him for best ball and have him as like your third or fourth tight end.
Bingo. That would be awesome. And if you get in dire straits and all of a sudden he's on that hot touchdown streak with a quarterback that likes to throw him, that also has a pretty good running game, like they're going to, that gets to the goal line, but is at the 5 instead of the 1, could be perfect for him to do a quick little, spotted 2 wide banana situation where he's the second option, but is more open than the running back in the flat.
All right, let's go to our next guy, Justin Joly. I keep wanting to call him Jolly just because Joly, but Joly, 6'3", 241. He played at NC State. His production year over year got better and better, and he plays a lot like a big slot. He reminds me a lot of when I was watching film of Fannin. Not that he's the tackle breaker that Fannin was, or the like pure pass catcher that he was, but like to me, he's the most comparable in this class to him. Kind of like a smaller guy that's could probably play some more like fullback kind of work all over the field, not so much as a true tight end. He plays like a big slot, so he's going to be working all off the line a lot. I think he can win at all 3 levels, down the field, over the middle, and short. He's got some massive ass hands, 10 and a half inch hands. So it shows up when he goes to make catches. He's got very strong hands, and he's good at the point of contact when he goes to make a catch. Don't ask him to block in the run game at all. Just split him out wide and let him run routes as a bigger body slot wide receiver. And one of the other cons is he's a smaller built tight end, which is fine. They do work at the next level. There's not someone that's going to be on the field quite as much when it gets to 3rd and 1. If it's a run play, I would rather him not be there trying to block a D end. I would rather have him on the end of the line going against a linebacker or going out in the flat for a route. if it's the 3rd and 1. But he, they have him on here as his athleticism score as a 57. I didn't see that. I saw someone that was a better athlete than this on the field. And I think he's projected currently to go like day 3. He's like start of round 4, maybe round 5, which I think would be a fun player to get in the 4th round again this year, like we did Fannin, who was back in the 3rd, maybe start of the 4th round guy. Someone that I'll probably have more shares of in this class just because I like the way he plays and it works for fantasy. You know, our tight ends these days, we're not asking them to block. We're asking them to score touchdowns and catch passes. But he's got to go to the right team that has a need for this type of tight end.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. 6'3", 241, Justin Jolie, 6'1", 6 on the NFL, 71 in that next gen. I thought he played more H-back, just kind of lined up even in the backfield than actually tight end. But one thing I did like that I brought up with like Sadiq and who else? A little bit Delp, is he was a willing blocker. Like he actually was willing to get scrappy and hit a little bit. Which I think teams will like, especially in this NFL. You know, he reminds me a lot of guys that are undersized, but tight ends that can actually block. Now, we clearly, I think you and I review blocking differently. I'm never looking for a tight end that just lines up on the line and then blocks a DN by himself, because we're getting to the point in the NFL and in college that a true tight end that can do that and receive and catch passes is such a unicorn that it
Oh yeah,
so rarely happens. I mean, even now, you look, Kelsey doesn't really do that. You know, he just doesn't. Who's the only one? McBride doesn't do
Hunter Henry.
yeah, exactly. So Henry kind of does. You know who does the oh my god, how am I forgetting his name? Kittle. Kittle is a really good blocker, loves it and gets open and slippery, right? But it's so
Mhm.
far removed and small that they're actually in line blocking D ends and enjoying it. I thought he was quite good catching. He got more productive through the years. He's not the fan and upside, not even close. Like that,
Yeah.
the college film isn't there. I thought he was able to adjust to zones quite well. That's something I noticed. And a couple things I noticed is every so often, if the quarterback started scrambling, he was very good at adjusting, and the quarterback looked at him. That
Mhm.
is a special trait that we don't discuss much. You know, when a play breaks down, where does he go? The best example I'll remember this, and this is not for Jolie, but it just reminds me of the situation, is if you watch Big Ben back in the day playing for Pittsburgh, if a play broke down, 98% of those balls were going to Antonio Brown. And they just were, because he knew that was his guy and he'll make a play for me. And when Pat Mahomes got in trouble, he used to throw it up to Tyreek Hill. Remember some of those years? So these are kind of the examples. If he can get that kind of situation in the right offense with a quarterback that he eats breakfast with, like Cooper Cup, I guess, it could turn into something. So for me, I'm much higher on Jolie than a lot of the other guys. You know, I'm getting closer to Jolie being like my third, depending on draft capital and situation, than even, like Delp or Rush. Even though I like Rush, I just think he was the best, and the ones behind him have even bigger question marks.
Yeah. I mean, him and our next guy are my 4 and 5. They're they kind of jump the 2-3 guys that we talked about ahead. Just because I think they're better in the passing game, which is what scores us points in fantasy. So when I talk about blocking, yes, there are multiple facets to blocking. Are you a power blocker? Can you win with positioning? Are you good at blocking linebackers or DNs? When I say I don't like their power, it means I don't think that they're going to dig out a defensive end or move the pile. But if you can get in the way and win with your positioning and create a lane, that is a very good skill to have. And yes, you can be someone that wants to block and is able to, stick your nose in there. But if you're not effective, those are two different things. I think he's someone that wants to block, and that's completely fine. I just wouldn't want him blocking on 3rd and 1 at the goal line.
I
But
see, and I would be okay with it because to me, if that's the situation, he's the puller. Like he's the lead. He gets off the line, rotates this way, pulls back around, and leads through the hole. He's not the guy on the line pushing someone back.
yeah, yeah, there's many ways to block, like how a wide receiver like cut blocks. Like he's not going to come in and win with power. He's going to either he's going to come in from the side and you aren't going to see him, and he's going to crack you there, or he's just going to get in the way and create a lane. And those are, you know, if you can create a lane, not really move the guy off the ball, but create a lane off of your butt or shield off the lane, and that's still a very good skill set to have.
Yes.
All right, how about we talk about Trig?
Sounds good. You want me to start? So Michael
Yeah, go
Trigg,
ahead.
6'3" and a half, 240, 6.0 NFL, 73 next gen. Um, Went to Baylor. The more I watch, they love spreading it out in the slot. Was an okay blocker, but wasn't really excited to do it. Got lit up a couple times, got the best of smaller safeties. Um, was okay in the red zone. You could see, doing okay. Nothing jumped out. That's the biggest thing. Was just kind of an okay, solid talent. I'm not the biggest fan, more of a big slot again. Definitely do not see him in line. That is for sure, especially coming from Baylor. Like, I don't I don't see it. I don't know how else to describe it. Some team, if they draft him, will have to have a plan. I bet he gets drafted in the fourth, fifth round. Will be a little bit later than maybe we think and hope, and could develop into something. But I was not as impressed as I'm hearing some people that like him. You like him, Gus? What do you think?
I do. He has 99 percentile wingspan, and he plays like it. I thought he caught balls away from his body well. I mean, he's got a massive wingspan. And to pair with that, I thought that he was a pretty smooth athlete for his size. He looked pretty fluid. He can break tackles. He can run away from defenders and make you miss. So for fantasy, I think he's someone that could, if put into a role where he was a big slot, because that's where I see him, because he moves like a big wide receiver, not so much on the end of the line. He can block DBs just fine. Just don't ask him to block a DN and maybe try to keep him away from linebackers. But he's someone that I liked after the catch, someone that can do something with the ball in his hands and with the ball in the air. He was pretty fun to watch too. Um, I think he's someone that can be dangerous down the field, someone that can work down the seam, someone that can work up the sideline. I think he can work at all three levels. He's someone that, for fantasy, I think has a higher upside than what the NFL is saying that he can be. Um, Cons on him, I just have don't ask him to block.
Okay, so not not much different there. I, i- if he goes in the fifth round in the NFL draft, are you just kind of like, all right, I might take a flyer in the fourth round of rookie drafts?
Yeah. I could see myself in the fourth round taking a shot at a few of these tight ends. Like if I have maybe two or three picks, like probably two or three of those picks will be on tight ends, just because you know a lot of what makes a tight end good for fantasy is, are they an athlete? Are they someone that can win in the passing game? And if they can do that for fantasy, then they have a shot to crack your starting lineup. We don't get points for blocking or, anything like that, unfortunately. Maybe down the line, they'll start to add points per like pancake or something like that. Or, they set the lead block on a run play or something like that, but probably not. But he's someone that I think that has a higher upside in the passing game than what his draft projection, sets on. Like I think according to the NFL now, he's projected sixth, seventh round. So he's probably not going to get the best draft capital. I would be surprised if he goes in the fifth, and I'll be excited if he goes in the fifth, because that's saying that some team sees him as sees him better than what the rest of the NFL does, and that means they're probably going to have a plan for him. But no,
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to come in and be a starter day one. He's someone that's going to have to work for it.
yeah. What when I look at blocking, just kind of clarify, and we talk about athleticism. If it's a willing blocker and a guy that is willing to pull and block, like backside safety, if he's come down into the box, or will linebacker, something like that, I could see him being used on more plays than some of the other guys. And what I keep seeing now is defenses continue to adjust, right? More teams were all three wide. Now they're two tight ends. But I see defenses adjust if you have two tight ends, but one of them is the Eli Stowers that can't block, Trig that can't block. They just treat him like a receiver. Like it's purely a slot corner on him, which, slot corners against big guys like this in the NFL eat them up. They just don't do as well. If it's a safety that's good in coverage that comes down, they kind of eat them up as well. So, um, anyway, that the athleticism is great, but if you can't really block and are a great RAS score at tight end, but you only play big slot, it doesn't mean as much. You'd have to scheme up some way to get him in a mismatch against the middle linebacker compared to defenses that are going to play nickel and dime if he's in the game.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our second to last guy, Eli Raridan. Did I say that right?
I
Raridan?
always say Raridon, but it could be
Raridan.
Raridan. Yep.
I heard it multiple ways. So
Yep.
Raridan. Let's go with that. Notre Dame, 6'6", 245. I think I rounded up on this one. Oh, I rounded down. He's 6'6" and an eighth. But one of the taller guys. Yeah, I just got to a point where these tight ends, like, all right, they're all like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Let's just put it to a whole number. For his size, I thought he was a pretty good athlete, a fluid athlete. I think he had great body control on catches away from his body. He also makes the tough catches in contested catches. I think he's someone that can also attack all three levels of a defense. I thought he separated well downfield. I don't know how so many times he was wide open. I think it was last week you said that you were trying to watch his film, but it was him or a wide receiver, but you kept going back to Love on it. But
It was
like
Malachi Fields. I was actually going to bring something up about him when I get to him, but yes, it was
but yeah,
Fields that had that.
there was a bunch of plays where he was just wide ass open to downfield, and because he could create a lot of separation at the top of his routes. I thought his run blocking was pretty good. He was strong. He also had technique on his blocking. He can line up on the line and in the slot. And I thought he was pretty good against zone coverage. Some of the cons, he only had 1 year of production, and also towards ACL in 2021 and 2022 on his right knee. So that's probably going to push him down some boards just from the NFL perspective. I think he's currently projected to go in like the 4th, 5th round. So still solid draft capital. I think he should probably be going in the 3rd round. But for someone his athletic, also he doesn't break a lot of tackles, but he tries to. He shows the effort to try and break them, but he just doesn't. I don't know why. For someone his size.
Yeah. So 6'6", 245, Notre Dame, Eli Raridon, 6'14", an NFL score, 70 in that next gen. I thought he was an okay blocker, but there are definitely points, even though he's trying, he gets pushed back. And you could see there are points when he come around and try and pull in front of Love or Price where he kind of get blown up a little bit. And so I would put him as an okay blocker. I like saying meh blocker, but it could be something. One thing you brought up that I just consistently saw, he was like sneaky slithering around and all of a sudden be 10 yards past the entire defense. And it's like, what happened? And what I think happens is people are so worried about Jeremiah Love or Price or Fields that he's the fourth option, fourth guy they're looking at. And even when in zone, I thought you said feel for zone. I think he had a pretty good feel of like, I can slippery do it out and kind of all of a sudden turn it into an out and up because there's enough time to move it into an out and up. and now all of a sudden I'm 20 yards downfield, and then I catch a deep ball and I get caught 20 yards later. But I thought he was just kind of slippery in routes, which is a positive, where he kind of gets hidden from the linebackers, or if a corner is up, playing, mid zone, or up tight at the line, he can get past him a little bit. And it's not because of speed, it's just because in the route there was enough time for him to slither out there. But it's going to come to situation, draft capital again, especially with the last few guys and him.
All right. Do you want to take over the last guy, and then we'll get into our mock draft?
Yeah, love it. Jack Endries from Texas, 6'4.5", 245, 6'13" NFL, 71 the next gen. One thing that immediately kind of pops out if you watch film is they threw screens to him. Like, they tried to get him the ball in different ways.
Hmm.
I don't know if he was truly good enough athlete for that after watching some of it,
Oh,
but they did. Um, I kept being like, he just kind of looks like a guy running around half the time. Didn't really understand zones as well. One thing that was interesting is I always thought he kind of had a tight stance slash as a runner, looked like his hips and legs were on top of each other, which means he can kind of get bumped off his route a lot by even smaller safeties, which is something to worry about. He'd have to work on. I didn't really think he was slippery. He didn't really break any tackles when I was watching it. Uh, some people like him. I'm more, Jolie's the guy I like more than all these other guys. I'll just leave it at that.
yeah. You said the screen part, and I was like, the first thing that came to mind was like, yeah, he doesn't make any people miss. He doesn't break tackles. So why are you throwing screens to someone that can't make people miss when you're throwing short by the line of scrimmage? You're throwing those passes to people that can make people miss and get yards, after that. He was kind of effective because there was good blocking on those. I saw on quite a few who'd get like 10 yards. It's like, all right, well, it's because no one touched him for 8 yards, but he had solid production for 3 years. That's something that's not really a staple of this class. There's a lot of guys that had maybe 1 or 2 years. I thought he uses his frame well to shield defenders from the catch point. Thought he was a physical route runner, hard to cover a man when he got to the top of his route. He worked against zone okay, and he had solid hands, but was best in traffic with his hands. Like, he didn't make any diving crazy catches or jump catches. It was all if you got it to him and it was a tight pass, more often than not he was going to come down with that ball. As far as a run blocker, I thought he had some great reps, and he also had some bad ones. He needs some work on technique. I thought a lot of it he was just trying to win with power, but still he's got the tools to be better. I didn't think he was a super athletic guy, but he's someone that will probably be the third or fourth tight end on a team, because now teams are starting to carry more and more tight ends. So I don't think he's ever really going to do anything for fantasy. He's one of the guys that's at the bottom of my list, but he was okay to watch. All right, let's do my tight end rankings, and then we'll get into the mock. The first three guys, I think it's pretty chalk. Kenny Sadiq, Stowers, and Claire are 1, 2, and 3. Then I jump to Trigg, Jolie at 4 and 5. 6, I went with Eli Reardon. 7, Oscar Delp. 8 was Jack, and 9 was Sam Roush.
Gotcha.
Anything on your list that was completely different?
I think based on value, I'm gonna have a lot of shares of Jolie. I just think he to me, he was the one that I like the most. And I think, my quick guess is Stowers is gonna go late first round, and Jolie might go early third. And so I don't see as much difference as everyone's telling me. And the draft might say otherwise, but if Jolie goes a late third round pick and Stowers goes early second, based on the situation, we see these are the kind of tight ends that come out of that are the Fannons, right? And no, he wasn't
Yep.
as productive, but if he goes in a situation without a ton of pass catchers or one injury away, he's the one I liked most. I also, like I said, Roush is the guy you have last. I'm I would have him higher because whatever team's going to use him is he's going to be on the field a lot, like a lot, a lot. So he's the guy that can easily be the third option. Quarterback goes check down to him, and he gets, you know, 4 catches for 18 yards. And tight end premium in a certain situation could be usable, but also if he scores a touchdown, now all of a sudden he is usable. And like I said, he's the guy I could see getting 7 touchdowns in a season just randomly.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll probably have the most shares of Jolie and Trig just because of where I have them ranked and where they're probably going to go in the draft. They're going to be further down the list, but I have them. So I'll probably watch Delp and Roush go a lot in front of me, and then take those two guys a little later on in Jolie and Trig,
I,
like in
I,
the third round.
I think a lot of people have Roush, especially in fantasy circles like you do. So I don't know if you'll watch Roush go. I think when we get to after the draft, Roush might be the seventh or eighth guy, but I just like him more.
Okay. Well, let's get into this draft. Let me share this. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to go back to back. You wanted the first pick. I can't imagine why. Then I'll go, and then you'll go, and then I'll go. And we'll just keep going back and forth all the way through the draft. So,
Perfect.
who are you taking with the first pick? I can't imagine.
Hey, what are we doing as tight end premium? You want to do half, 0.75? What are you thinking?
Let's just do 0.5.
Zero point 0.5. Okay, that makes it easier. Not at this pick, but later on. Um, to me, even if it's super flex, Jeremiah Love is the pick. I just think he's special. As I've said on this podcast a bunch, I have him over um, Genty. He's my running back 3 right now, just entering the NFL. Even if he goes to the Titans, I think the situation's a little better than it is with the Raiders. And so Love is my pick.
All right. This is a hard pick for me just because I like a few other players more than Mendoza, but he is going to be the first overall pick. He's going to be the safest pick of this group right here after Love. And without knowing where guys are going to go, and because I know that I can play the game with you and get who I want on the way back around, that I'm going to take Fernando Mendoza and then let you pick your favorite receiver, and then I'll come back and pick mine.
Right. I think this is easy just because of who we liked. It'll be more fun after this. But for me, my number one receiver was Tate after watching the film. I think the upside still is Tyson, but I'm taking Tate here.
All right. Well, you're also going to get Tyson because I'm going to select Makai.
Right. I think you're the lemon guy there. So much of this I think is where they go, but just based on who we like pre-draft, my next pick is Jordan Tyson. I think the upside is there, and where there's smoke, there's fire. Right now, he's moving up.
All right. And I'm going to pass on the tight end. You'll probably take him, but I really like this wide receiver, Casey Concepcion. He's my wide receiver 4, and I'll take him there.
Gotcha. I'm gonna take Jadarian Price. I The smoke
Ooh.
is too strong for him to go to a good situation as the running back 2 in the first 2 rounds, whether it's Seattle or someone else. I just think when people keep mocking him in the end of the first, it's too strong to keep letting him fall. And to me, it's teams need running backs in fantasy. They can find a lot of fifth, sixth, seventh receivers.
All right. Then this makes it pretty easy for me. I'm going to go with the tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. I'm not a fan. I'm not as much as a fan of the next wide receivers, so I will take the high first round pick in Kenyon Sadiq.
Hmm. Um,
This is where the draft starts, I think.
um, I think some people might have Cooper higher or Boston higher. I'm taking Boston. I liked him more. I like the upside a little more. Um, I just I felt too many perfect situation things, and on a championship team made Cooper stand out a little more. So I'm taking Boston.
Yeah, now it gets a little bit more difficult for me. Oh, great. Let me just refer back to my wide receiver rankings real quick. Uh yeah, you did take Boston, who was my number 5. I do have Cooper as my 6th. I just don't believe. Maybe I should bump him down. If this guy gets day 2 capital, I'm gonna be very much in. So I'm gonna take my RB3,
Or RB3, who's that?
Emmett Johnson.
Okay. Gotcha. You see, what's funny, pick 9, it's almost even still go get your guy. And what's
Yeah.
funny, you say that, and I'm going to get my guy, which is Mike Washington.
Okay. Mike Washington. Oh. So if Stowers gets early day 2 capital and a 0.5 tight end premium, Omar Cooper is going to be a. See, I know you're probably gonna take Stowers next, and that kind of. I'm gonna let you make the choice if you take Cooper or not. I'm gonna take the tight end.
Okay. See, I think Stowers is going to go a lot, and half point even. He's going to go a lot at the end of the first round because I think people will like the idea of him and the upside a little bit. I'm taking Ty Simpson, and
Oh,
it
okay.
is purely there's too much smoke that he's going to be either first round or top 3 pick of the second round quarterback. And we've seen it too many years in a row where those guys at least get 1 or 2 years a chance of starting.
Oh, I guess you're gonna make me do it. I'll take Cooper. I do like the player. I just don't think he's a first round talent, but he's gonna have the draft capital, so I think he's gonna be someone that you're gonna have to take a shot on at the start of the second round. If he falls as far, I'm sure some people are gonna take him in the first. So
Yeah.
I'll buy the fall here.
Jonah Coleman for me.
Damn
I
it.
think I have him as like my running back 3 or 4. I think 4 probably.
He's my 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my 4.
I have him above Emmett Johnson. So for me, he's fallen. He's there. I think that's the pick. I, I do think he's probably getting day 2 capital. And if he gets day 2 draft capital, even in the third round, I think he's worth a shot in a draft like this.
All right. I'm going to go with my wide receiver 7, Chris Bell. Now, I feel like it's just starting to get tough, but like this, like middle to back end of the second, it's going to be like, who do you like more?
Yeah, this is
Because
100% go get
all
your
these
guys.
guys.
Shit. That's upside. So I keep hearing rumors that Elijah Surratt is going early second round to the Raiders so he can go play with his quarterback. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But I like Surratt, but I don't like him this much. To me, pure upside, and it's a Tennessee receiver. I'll go Chris Brazzell.
Damn. All right. Oh, well, since I do have Mendoza, I think, well, I didn't like Surratt that much. I think he's going to be fine. You did take Chris Brazzell, who I liked. It gets tough quick.
Yeah, what pick are we on again? We're on 2.6, and it's still like, which one of these guys do we really want?
Let me go back to my backs. He's probably gonna have day 2 capital. Where'd he go?
Who's that?
Where's he at?
Top.
Oh, you already took him. Yo, never mind. You already took him. With that said, I will go with my next guy. I'm gonna go with Nick. I was looking for Washington. I forgot that you took him in the first.
Yeah, I like him better than that. My next pick, this is get your guy season, Ted Hurst. I think
Okay.
a team will
Okay.
jump up and go grab him. I don't even know where he is on the list.
There he is.
Pretty far down. I can see he's a guy that
Yeah.
people like and move up, but I guess I want to make a stamp that I think he's worth it and has the upside, and teams will like it, even if he came from a small school.
All right. So my top, really, my okay. So I've got one wide receiver that hasn't been drafted that's already got players taking over him. I'm going to take
Yeah,
Jeremy Bernard.
you took him. I'll take
This,
Elijah Surratt.
he, there it is.
I think he's
You can have him.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you talk about him, but I'm gonna go with Malachi Fields.
Uh, I list him as a no real separation, slow, good hands, and very big size. So, yeah. Um. Oh man, which of these kids do I want? Let me. Oh Jesus, am I going pure upside already at the end of the second? You know, I think someone might like Katron Allen, so let's just take him. I just
That was gonna be my pick.
even if it's like a fourth round running back at this point, I think he's probably one of the guys that's going to get a little more draft capital than we think, and could have an opportunity to at least start out at the running back 3 on their team, which is sad for the 211.
I'm gonna take another wide receiver, Skylar Bell. I'm a big fan, so he was my top one on the board. So I might as well take him. I think Branch is gonna fall so far in this draft.
Yeah, neither of us like him, so that's not that close to me. Um, I'm hearing
301.
rumors. I'm hearing rumors Nussmeier might be a mid-second round pick, and so the real question is: do you jump in and take a quarterback in super flex in the third like this? If he was, um,
Say he goes the Saints. You know.
oh, that's awful. So I like him. The others, you know what? Yeah, take Nussmeier. I think if he
All
goes in the
right.
second, he's worth a shot for a team needing QB.
I'm going to take a day 2 tight end, and I think this is probably where we're going to start to see some tight ends go, but I'll be the first one to take one. I'm going to go Max Clear.
Yeah. Let's see if who else we got here. Um,
Got
yeah,
the old guys still
this is
still
such
using
a get your
paper.
guys situation, right? So it's kind of where do you take them? Looking at this list, um, I mean, look, even by their list, Trig is next. I know you like him, but where's my running back list? Where did I have it? Where did I have it? Oh, there it was. Okay. Um, I just can't do that. You know, give me Jolie. I already hyped him up in this class. I'm going to take the shot at him.
Well, I said it was going to start a run. Did did I already miss him? Oh, he's way down there. Oh, wait. Yeah, he's fucking way down there.
Is he? Good.
Where is he? There's no way I passed him.
I don't know.
Here, let me scroll back up.
Can you
Trig.
search his name?
He was way down there. Holy shit. 2,225
Nice. Good.
reach. Anyway, I'll take my next highest graded wide receiver. I'm gonna go Jacoby Lane.
I'm jumping into the get your guy category in the third round where I took the tight end, and now I'm taking Adam Randall, the running back.
Oh, I thought he was gonna be in the fourth.
No,
Adam
if you're
Randall.
with me, there's certain guys that if I like them a little bit in the third round, I'm taking a shot. So sorry to hear it.
Yeah, he's way down there too.
Oh yeah.
He was my RB. Where'd he go? RB 8. So he was my next guy. Well, shit. Was not expecting that. I guess. I guess I'll just take the last tight end then. I'll take Trig.
I didn't trig. Okay. Let's see what we got. Yeah, none of those guys are exciting. Let's see. Um, shit. You know,
So,
I'm
thing to
gonna.
note already is the ADP on Sleeper is going to be wild for your drafts immediately after the NFL draft. So be sure to
To look
favorite
at that.
your guys.
Yes. So I will take Bryce Lance. I'm just going to
Okay.
take the shot at that wide receiver. Um,
I'm sure he's way down there. So let me just. Oh
yeah,
my goodness, he is way down there.
yeah. That's
Which is
taking the side
fine.
small school, but you never know.
All right. So he was actually my next wide receiver.
Wow.
Um, my next one is Antonio Williams. I don't know if I want to take him. We're starting to get thin.
Oh yeah, and we're in the middle of the third round.
Yeah, it's starting to get thin. Let me go back to backs. I'm gonna take Seth McGowan.
Are you? That's who I was going to take. So
Yeah,
that's interesting. So you jump in there. I guess I'll. Uh, don't want to go to another receiver. People keep saying it's a receiver class. God, do
starting
we
to
hate
get thin
Zachariah
there.
Branch or what? Um, he's going to get too good a capital. Give me Zachariah Branch. Just the draft capital is going to be too high.
You wanted Branch. All right. So we fell to the third. I was gonna be fine completely just not taking him at all.
At all. That's so
At all.
aggressive.
Oh, you pull up my QBs. I know that there's a couple that I like, and I feel like this is probably the spot to go ahead and start taking some of those fellas.
Yeah.
Here we go. Um, it's pretty much who's your favorite at this point. I really liked Cade Klubnik. I know he's probably at the very end of some people's list of QBs, but he's the one I want.
Gotcha. Let me get. Let me see who's on the board there. Uh, let's do. Let me get Le'Veon Moss. He can at least catch some
Oh,
passes.
all right. I'm gonna go with my next wide receiver. He's at the top of the board, so might as well Antonio Williams.
Gotcha. I'll take Jam Miller.
Start of the fourth. We're going Jay Miller.
Yep.
Oh Lord. Um, Wide receivers are getting real thin.
Everything's thin.
Maybe those guys were right in saying this is a thin class.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stay with QBs just because I think some of these guys, one of these guys, is gonna get some sort of playing time at some point. I'm gonna go with Beck.
Wow. Gotcha. Let's see who's on the board. Not doing it for him. Um, let's do Colin Black, the running back, Indiana.
That's unfortunate. Um,
Why you were
and
gonna take it?
yeah, and there's no real backs that I have left. My next back is Claiborne, and I'm not gonna take Claiborne. So
The returner.
no more backs for me. Let me look at my QBs again. I'm just going QBs. Drew
Gotcha.
Aller.
I'll take Terrion Stewart, the running back.
Oh,
Is he not on the list?
what's his first name? You said Terrion?
Terrion.
Spell it for me.
I think it's Terion.
No, he's not on the board.
So he's not even on the list. They get Terrion Stewart, but he's not there. What about so another running back name that I've been hearing is like Herndon. Have you heard of
Oh,
him?
the white guy?
Yeah.
How do you spell his name? H-E-R.
Holy shit. H something. It's H-E.
What's his first name?
Shit, if I remember. Thought it was another
Come on,
H.
Colin. Shit.
I had Terrion Stewart and they wouldn't give it to me. Now I'll take Herndon, the white guy. If he's not on the list, he should be in there. Who else? If not him, give me Sam Ralph because I said I liked him. Make it easier.
Okay. It's getting tough out here in the streets. I think I'll go with a tight end as well. I'm gonna go Delp.
Oh, that's one we should have taken earlier. Just being honest, he would probably go
Yeah,
way earlier than this. Just
this
because of
ADP is
upside,
so jacked.
huh?
This ADP is so jacked up.
Oh yeah, it's all food bar now. Let's see. I gotta find his ass. I'm looking to see if the other guy that we were looking for.
There's a few left that I've got my eye on. Like, let me scroll to the bottom. I mean, there's Cole Payton.
Oh God, see, I am not a late round QB like this. Just give me just a second so I can look up rookies. Not trending. Rookies. What about like who's that guy? Roman Hemby, another running back from Indiana.
Yep, I got you. I'm gonna take another tight end. Eli.
Rarigan. Let's scroll down here.
There's 4 picks left. Can we make it?
Oh,
Do we know?
It's there. He's there. He's 2208. Eli Hendrick Hendenreek. It's an easy name.
Oh, there it is.
Yep,
All right.
that's my boy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take the next dual threat QB. That's gonna look pretty on my taxi. Taylor Green.
Taylor Green. Yes, got it. There was one more receiver I kind of like that. I'm like, let's just take a shot at him.
Don't you do it?
Let me do Jeff Caldwell.
Okay.
Who was yours?
Jeff was one of the names. Branch.
Who's Mr. Irrelevant?
Let me circle back to QBs, make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, yep, they're all taken, the ones I want. I'm not taking Claiborne. Mystery Irrelevant is going to be... I'm going to go Kevin Coleman. Oh, I think he's at the top. Sweet.
Yep.
Kevin Coleman. All
Easy
right.
enough. And we didn't even draft Endries
No,
or
he was...
Deion Burks.
I don't care about Burks. Burks was 21 on my list. I took Kevin Coleman over him, who was at 22. So I guess I should change that ranking, but I don't know.
What was the immediate feeling? Part of mine was after kind of mid of the second, you're kind of just going to get your guys. And even then it's sketchy. And then midway through the third, you're taking guys that normally are almost undrafted in most rookie drafts. And you're having to take them at like the 306.
Yeah, so I like a lot of the first round. I think the first round still is going to have value, but there's a huge drop off. I think probably 108, 109, 110 range, depending on where these guys go. And then the second round, I feel like you're calling your shot on someone you hope that can do something. And then the third and fourth round is like, I liked what they did in college, at least somewhat. Hopefully they get a good spot. But there was a bunch of guys that we drafted that were way down here on the list. So this ADP is going to be foobarred once we get into drafts next week. Because we're starting all of our drafts if the league is paid up as soon as the NFL draft is finished. There's a handful of leagues that are all paid up. There's an even bigger handful that has like one or two left. I might have to fill some orphans because there's a guy that hasn't been in the chat in 5 months, and he was in the chat in the 2025 league. so I sent him an email today from his league safe email just to see if he's still somewhat active. But if you haven't been in the fucking chat in 5 months, that's probably means you're done. Which sucks because
for you. Yeah,
because that's a high dollar league too. I think that's like dad's 28 or something like that. I mean, that's a $100 buy-in that he's just
letting go.
Don't care about. Yeah.
Yep.
But so we're gonna have over 30 some drafts start next week. So
nice. I'll be in a good number of them.
Yeah.
Looking at it quickly, one of the guys that I think is just going to go higher is Oscar Delp. I think I brought it up when we drafted him. I think when I say higher, he's going to be an early third round pick, maybe even late second. Like I could see some people fall in love with him just because people say his upside's there. I don't know if it's happening, but that's the guy I see. And the biggest thing I'm noticing is if you listen to other fantasy analysts and draft analysts, etc., after pretty much Omar Cooper, everyone has a different next receiver or next 5 receivers. So it's pretty much if you like certain ones in certain drafts, you'll be able to get them in the third. In other drafts, they go at the 205. You know, it's going to be interesting to see because some people hate Chris Bell, some people love him. Brazel, Tennessee, some people hate, some people love. People love Skylar Bell, Jacoby Lane. Some people like Zachariah Branch for his upside. Surratt, you know, I just can see some of these receivers have such varying degrees, not just draft spot and draft capital, but also opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be a crapshoot, I think, after the 205, 206. It's going to be a lot of, players are going to go all over the place, and it's going to be fun. Like you're going to have to know who are your guys, and we'll do another one of these after the draft, and we'll kind of tell who are our guys. So it's going to suck for at least me and you. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll just do it
I'm doing it
by myself.
That's fine.
You've already traded all of your picks for the first overall pick. So like you're just taking love everywhere already.
Yes.
So
if you have the 101, I will trade all my picks for him. So it's easy.
now that the Giants have moved back into the top 10 with another pick, again, I'm going to ask: is there any landing spot for Love where he's not the first overall pick?
For me, that's no.
I've been seeing people say that they're going to take Mendoza at the first overall pick.
I'm in that
Is
league. I hope I'm in that league.
I think there's going to be more people that don't take Love than we would think, even though Love is probably the right pick. And most people think it's the right pick at the very top of the draft. But I've been surprised before where people take someone else. Like I think there was a league last year where someone didn't take Genty at the first pick. And I was like, oh, okay.
I was in a league where someone took Hampton. They liked it, Amari and better.
Yeah, which I think is fair. I think at the end of their career, they'll probably be closer than some people would like to think.
But part of it to me is the value. If you have the 101, a lot of player takey people, me, whoever, feel it's love and it's no doubt. If you have the 101 and you want to, and you rather have Mendoza or a quarterback, find a way, and you need a QB, find a way to trade it because you're getting way more value out of that 101 if you trade it than if you just take Mendoza.
Yeah,
That would
yeah,
be my fantasy rookie draft advice right now.
yeah. I think it was like 2 years ago. There was this guy in the league that had a bunch of first overall picks, and he was using that first overall pick to go grab QBs instead of the back. I think it was
Bijan?
it might have no, it might have been Genty. So it was last year. Someone was trading the first overall pick and going and getting QBs. They were going to go get Caleb. They were going to go get another QB that they liked plus some, and trade away that first overall pick, which is what you should do if you don't want to take a back. Say you're like 2 years out and you don't want to have his value be volatile on your bench if he gets hurt or something like that. Um, Go get a stable asset, and then once it comes time for you to actually, try to make a push, one season, then invest in the RP position because you can get guys that are super cheap that are going to help you win. Like if you look at guys like Javonte Williams this past year, like helped people win leagues, and he was basically free before the season started. So you can win with lower end backs that have a pop off year versus you know trying to invest like right now. If you were in a rebuild and you were 2 years out, would you keep Bijan or would you trade him for a QB or a wide receiver plus some? Like like people look at it like that. Where do I want to hold this back that you know as his career goes on, like in 3 years, whenever you're about to hit your time to start to compete, he's not gonna be worth as much. You know,
Uh,
that's kind of the stuff that I do. But like guys like Gibbs and Bijan, it's hard to trade off of them just because you know that they're gonna be good for a while.
I just saw in a league, guys rebuilding, traded Bijan, and he got Myers, older guy. Anyway, and I don't know, like a random fourth rounder, traded him away and got Lamar, Josh Jacobs, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
Right.
like
It's like, cool, thanks. I'm giving away old talent, a random fourth, and Bijan for the world, and I got the world back. Right. So
yeah,
great.
yeah. Well, that was the mock. Do you want to post our teams and then like I'll cut this up and we can post it in the Discord and see who seemed better. Obviously, it's going to be hard because you have Love and people want Love over everything. So like it takes like my first three picks to equal Love in
Yep.
most people's eyes. So it's going to be tough for me,
Well, and I
but
got Ty Simpson and Garrett Nussmeier on that team. That team's going to win the title.
okay. All right. All right. Well, how about you end us off on some dad advice and then we'll get out of here.
Yes, dad advice, husband advice. There are going to be times in life when a family member is going through rough times slash in the hospital, and an older grandparent or dad, and just know that each person deals with grief and situations that are sad or a little scary or unknown differently, and to be supportive of your partner and to include your kids in on that, but also say and show how much them going to the hospital with you and seeing this, let's say, older family member brightens their day up as a memory and brings them back to life. And the kids, it's a big positive for the whole family. Don't shy away from it and know that everyone just deals with situations differently.
Yeah. There's I I can see that there's going to be times where someone on my wife's side is going to be in the hospital, and maybe I wasn't a big part of their life, which is fine, you know. But what that person meant to my wife is vastly more important, and I need to support my wife in that moment. Sets a good example for the kids, and also you're there to support your wife because you are the person that they're with every day. And even though you may not have known that person as well as your spouse, you being there is more for your spouse than it is for the other person, and that's what matters most, I think.
Yep.
All right, man. Well,
Good talk. Get ready for the draft, baby. So excited. This is fun. Can't wait till this weekend's gonna be a lot of fun. I actually have a guys golf trip, which is gonna be great, while also watching the draft Thursday, Friday, and at least keeping up with it Saturday.
yeah, the next time we're on this podcast, it'll be talking about where guys got drafted, and that's what this whole buildup has been for the past 2 months, is trying to prepare for where these guys go, and finally seeing where they're going to call home for the next 3-4 years, is at least the next 3-4 years, and trying to project not only them as a player, but what affects the players that are already on the team. How does it affect them? Like, if Love goes to the Cardinals, like, obviously it's gonna be tough for everyone in the backfield. How much is he going to play year one? Is he going to be the starter from day one? The same thing if he goes to the Giants. Like, how much of a split is it going to be between him and Cam Scadaboo? And just make that same talking point for every single one that we just talked about, because everyone else is going to be being put somewhere on a roster spot on a depth chart where it's going to affect other people and also their value. So
Yep.
it's the season of speculation.
Best way to put it. So,
All right, man. Let's
all
get
right,
out of
bud.
here.
Yeah. See you, man.